Welcome back to the Real Estate Huddle, episode 124. And today we're going to be talking about what the headlines aren't telling you about real estate. So if you look at the headlines only, you'll notice that a lot of it is all about highlights, whether it be high or low, right? Making it look great, or you may think the market's going to crash, or we're going to take off based on what you read on headlines. But really, what's going down behind the scenes is statistics, right? And we're going to talk about the real numbers, facts, stuff that is important if you're actually thinking about buying, selling, or investing. So let's dig into that, you guys. If you're reading headlines nowadays, why are they a little bit off base? What do you guys think?
I think you went too easy on the media industry there. Media industry is selling clicks.
Mm-hmm. And usually negative things get more clicks than positive things. Yeah. So if they can spin it in a negative way or in a way that sounds negative, they're probably going to do it.
Their agenda is totally different, right? Than most people.
I think what you teed up, so I'm sorry.
No, go for it. Yeah.
Data, a lot of what you see, regardless of what market you're in, is national data. And there's great variations. And we talk a lot about our market here. We tend to be on one side of that, whereas other places maybe. So the national versus local can be misleading.
Yeah.
Also, how often are you guilty of reading a headline and never reading the article? Mm-hmm. So they're going to throw out this like crazy article knowing that there's a crazy stat of, and I can't remember what it is, so I'm not going to say it, but there's a large majority of people that when they're looking at social media and they see an article headline, that's what they stick to. That's all the information they receive. Yeah. And so people know that. And so they'll put in the harshest headline they can make it to make it seem, like whatever. And whether they get clicks or not, it's just, it's there to cause chaos.
It doesn't matter the topic, whether it's politics, whether it's sports. Like I get so annoyed by sportscasters that like a team has one bad game and then they're just like ripping on the team. Like this team, they don't have a chance, and it's like, well, the Broncos were 14-3 and everyone was saying they didn't have a chance. It's crazy.
It happens once a week where you watch like a whole interview with a sport, with an athlete, and then you read the snippet and you're like, what?
Yeah,
that's the crazy part, though, because like they obviously want the clicks, so they make this crazy headline to try to get you to click, but a lot of people still don't, so they're left with that headline in their head of like something crazy. So like that's it. That's all they know. And they're like, oh crap, now we're the world's gonna end.
Good
so
segue.
The truth might be in the last two paragraphs of the article.
Yeah, no joke.
And probably most
have you ever read through these
Yeah.
articles before? Like click on one and just be like, they give you like this whole pre like synopsis of why they wrote that headline, and then they're like, and this is it. And it's like 5 sentences. Like, that's what I read this article for? Are you kidding me? It had nothing to do with the headline. It was terrible. It gave no information. What a waste of time.
But they got you.
Yeah, they got me.
That's true.
They got their click.
What's the first one that comes to your mind?
Well, just so much of it's driven by fear too, right? And it's so the market is crashing is what the media wants everybody to feel like, because it's like, oh, it's scary, because when people are scared and they feel like something's going to happen, right, or take away their asset or whatever, then there's viewers there if they're a homeowner, or if they're not a homeowner, everyone's just chomping at the bit for the market to crash. They want the market to crash, right? And so there's a ton of those that are constantly just hoping that the market tanks so that they can afford to sweep in and buy a house.
It's like
finally.
they're manifesting.
Yeah, rightfully
odd.
so. I mean, that's
very odd.
I would too if I didn't own a home. Like that would be what I would be hoping for, and wishful thinking. And they just suck onto any article that says anything like that, right? And just hold it to be their truth, because that's what they're hoping for. So, like, there's like hope bias that happens a lot, whether you're on one side or the other.
Hope bias. I think you just coined a phrase.
Yeah,
hope
maybe.
bias. Anyway, what I was getting at is that's kind of the headline number one. Oh, the market's crashing. Market's crashing.
Yeah, price cuts everywhere, which we know. The real fact, you guys, out of 404 markets that are tracked, city markets, Denver was number one for the amount of price reductions per listing. And so 38% of our homes on the market had at least one price reduction. So that's the highest number in the country, which has happened. But then you look at the average price numbers, and the average price numbers are just flat, right? It hasn't meant that the prices have come down a whole lot. And it depends on which month of the year you're looking. But even like the median price for last year, single family homes were down about 2%, right? And same with condos and townhomes. It actually, the year ended pretty level with us being down a couple percent on each. So we're not talking about a huge crash here. We're talking about marginal decline that happened last year. And the previous 3 years were just flat, you know?
Well, but we talked in that separate podcast we did here in this market, we went up the most. So part of this is just smart listing agents doing their analysis and being one step behind till we get that new price.
Yep. Yep.
So that's logical why we're seeing more here.
Yeah.
Because we saw more the other direction.
Right. Number of price cuts doesn't necessarily mean price is going down, right? So that was a huge headline, though, that a lot of people grabbed onto, saying Denver's market's crashing.
Crashing is
kind of like,
you-
yeah,
go ahead.
like prices are normalizing. This sounds like what you guys are saying.
100%.
And then inventory is kind of like normalizing also.
Crashing is such a volatile word. Like it sets people's alarms off
Yeah.
like crazy.
You do more CMAs than anyone at this table, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
it. You see it
as
firsthand.
crashing?
No.
No.
So what is our average? So
That's a good point, though, Spencer. Our sales volume crashed, right? I mean, that went down like 32%.
sales volume for sure.
You know,
but that
like-
has nothing to do with home prices,
And that means the number of people moving, that number crashed after 2022.
or the amount of people that just aren't buying at the moment or
Yeah.
selling. Like
Yeah.
people just held on for a little bit because rates were here. They had a rate that was down here. They're like, I'm gonna hold off for a little bit. That was a huge factor of that. So like volume, sure, maybe it took
Affordability
a
is the
crash.
primary reason, yeah.
But like when we're talking about price adjustments, what is our average price adjustment per adjustment?
Usually around 1%.
1%, right? It's really not that big of a deal. At most, we've probably seen an average of 1 to 2 of those per transaction. Maybe every once in a while we'll have one that's kind of an outlier, but that is far from a crash. That is normalizing for sure. That is bringing us that is humbling ourselves to the market standard, right? And so I don't know. I hate the media. It drives me absolutely insane. So when they start throwing all this stuff out, just fear mongering, it does no good for anybody.
So some of the points were here. So that's what they're saying. What are they not saying? So we talked about corrections. It's not really affecting the average price. One that's pretty interesting here is equity levels are higher than they've ever been.
Yeah.
It's partly
Yeah.
due to the fact that I'm sitting on my rate or I'm wary about buying somewhere else. But from a stability in this huge market where so much of our wealth lies, we're building more of it and more of it.
These articles are so superficial. They don't go into the depth of like, yeah, how much equity do we actually have in this home? Am I real? Like, because have we even hit a foreclosure market yet? I've maybe heard of like 2 or 3 foreclosures in the past 2 or
dancing
3
around
years.
A couple last summer.
That's just like in our areas, right? But people aren't necessarily upside down on their mortgages right now. And if they are, we still have a market that's looking to appreciate over the next couple of years to where they can probably dig themselves out and be just fine.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, and it's
Very
very
odd.
crazy. Like in the U.S., there's 44 to 47% of all homes with a mortgage have 50% ownership, at least 50% equity in their home or more. So that's a huge number. And then about 34% of homeowners have 100% equity in their home, meaning it's paid off free and
Wow.
clear.
That's
I just
a
met with
huge
one this
number.
morning that's, their home is paid free and clear, and
What a dream.
and amazing homeowners in their 30s that have paid the home off free and clear. So it's unbelievable. And some people have been able to do that with a really low rate and just a good plan of, paying down more to principal every month, or getting a shorter term mortgage, 15-year, 10-year, and making it happen quicker that way.
All-in-one mortgage. At some point, we'll probably do a podcast.
Yeah, the all-in-one with CMG, like that's another one that's
just
huge.
did it.
So there's a lot of ways to pay it off faster, but like a lot of people have taken advantage of these low rates and just are cooking with equity right now, and a lot of people have stayed put, and the longer you're in an amortization schedule, meaning your mortgage payments, gets better and better and more favorable to you. So that's, I think, the number one reason why I don't think the market's going to tank or crash right now is because of the amount of equity that people have in their homes. So you just don't have very many distressed homeowners right now because of that. But there are some. There absolutely are some.
Next topic. So if the market's not crashing, what's the next thing we hear the most?
high rates are killing the market.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big one. And part of me is like, when I see these articles, part of me is like, I get where they're coming from. Like this one isn't like a terrible article. However, you have to keep in mind like relativity, right?
Yeah.
Based off of where the rates used to be. Now we do have kind of the factor of like how high priced homes are right now still. So there's like, I wouldn't say there's truth to it. However, I wouldn't say rates are killing the market. I think people are just much more aware of their buying power at this moment, or what they're actually qualified for and what they actually want to spend. I think it's just people being smart, and it's not so much of a killing the market. It's just they're taking their time, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's taken a while for the younger generations to get used to the fact that 3% is the outlier, not 6.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the other thing that we don't see is like when these rates are high, what we're doing like in the trenches to get them the best deal possible. And that comes like to concessions, that comes like our inspection stuff, that comes down to all this other, all these other things that make it completely worth it to get their mortgage to where they want it to be, with like rate buy downs and stuff like that, to where they're actually pretty freaking comfortable. So it's not like they're all house poor. It's not like they're all just buying and living out of their means.
Yeah.
People are fairly comfortable with what they have. Yeah, it's a little higher than they, want it to be compared to what the past 10 years have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, people are still buying houses and still living comfortably.
Yeah.
But it's like life events are still happening, So, I mean, I think people are kind of comfortable with that lower rate if they have that. But at the same time, there's so many reasons to move because of, upsizing, downsizing, et cetera. And so, I think there comes a point where people kind of overcome the rate issue because they have to move based off of needs. And the rate issue can be adjusted in a variety of ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 100%. When you started, because you've been in what, 17?
This is my 19th year. Yeah.
19?
Yep.
Dang, man.
July of 07.
You look really good. So the other thing is, when you first started, how long was, what was the average time on market?
About 124 days back then.
So when I say time on market, it's like from when we list the house day one to when it sells.
When it goes under
Or
contract.
when it goes, under
Yeah.
contract, excuse me.
Yeah, it was about 120 something days when I
are-
first got started.
We've cut that in a third.
Yeah.
Like we're a third of that. So market is moving a lot faster than what it used to move.
Yep.
People don't realize that either. There's a sense of, I know relativism isn't always the best way to live, but in real estate, you kind of have to. You have to look at
Yeah.
where we came from to where we are now. And we're a much different market than what we used to be.
I'll concede this, right? Because you're probably an example. You are fairly young. You bought your first home, and you were probably in a 3, 4,
Yep.
right? And now you're going through life growth. You're married. You've got kids.
Yep.
That upscaling, that's harder because I need more house, but that's at 3%.
Yeah.
This is 6. That makes some sense to me.
Yeah.
But what have you done? You kept it, cash flowed it.
Yep.
So there are ways around that.
Yeah.
And what it's done though, sometimes, like with that exact example, is it's flooded the rental market a little bit. So property managers keep telling us how hard it is to find a tenant right now and how it's tricky. There's just not enough renters and that sort of thing because there's a lot of rental supply. There's a lot of people that have turned their home on a 2 or 3% rate
point.
into a rental and then gone and bought something else at today's rate with a 2-1 buy down, or assume somebody else's loan on an FHA or VA loan.
Yeah.
And so there's very savvy buyers that have done that over and over again, but it's creating more and more rentals. Yeah. So that's something to be aware of as well. So yeah, you're right. Life events are catching up with people. After 4 or 5 years, life changes for a lot of people and they need to make some changes, and they need cash in some ways because of affordability on just debt consumption, right? Like credit cards, other things, grocery costs, everything's gone up. So people don't have excess cash. It's tied up in their homes a lot of time. And so they're either getting a HELOC or needing to sell and cash out so that they can afford to live. So we're seeing that happen a little bit right now for sure. But they have equity, so it's not a market crash. It's just more of a inventory slowly trickling up, right? We went to 14,000 last year. We'll probably get to 15 or 16,000 this year on homes on the market at our peak.
What are the markers for a crash? Maybe that's a good, and I don't know what that baseline looks like, but
Well, you can't. There's movies made about that in 2008, but the equity is a huge portion of it, and that's
Right.
where the banking system has been propped up to avoid.
And yeah, that's kind of
You
my
know,
point
yeah.
is,
And we missed probably one of the biggest points is in 2007 and 8, the whole reason why that crash happened was because of subprime loans and lending laws
Poor
that just
lending
went
laws,
way
yeah.
loose. And they were giving a ton of mortgages away to people that didn't have the ability to qualify for a mortgage. Didn't even have to, right? There was no guidelines right back then. I mean, very loose guidelines. So when you have that many of those types of home purchasers getting into homes, then it crashed because of distressed sellers. And now right now lending guidelines are still fairly tight. They haven't loosened up that much. So that's created a pretty healthy balanced market that we're in right now. So
very interesting.
The
So
market's not crashing.
yeah,
Rates aren't killing us.
yeah, so I think homes are sitting right now. Well, one of the headlines that everybody is saying is that just that homes are sitting because nobody's buying, right? And just where are the buyers? The buyers are gone. And I would say that is true in certain segments. The attached
last 2
condos.
years were that's fairly true. It's our sales volume was down
Yeah,
by far.
it was. Buyers have still been there. They're just focusing more on single family entry level homes.
They're just
Have
taking their
still been
time.
hot.
Yep.
And it's there are some gaps in our market though. Like attached luxury type attached units are not getting many showings at all right
yeah.
now. That's like 700 to a million basically. Those are tough. Those are really tough. And so in those markets, it's like, where are the buyers at the moment? And so there's some of that going on, but overall, I feel like our showing counts are up about 30% from the end of January this year to the end of January last year. So there's more buyers right now than there have been in the
It
past.
feels that way.
Yeah, but there's even more listings too, right? So it's kind of balancing out right now.
But that's the best part. Like, that's where I'm like, this isn't a crash. This is people just having the opportunity to go see more than 2 homes.
Yeah.
Like, we have an inventory that's meets everybody's, criteria where like we can go see up to like 10 homes in just a weekend.
Yeah.
See if there's some that we like, and they get to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And we're coming from a market where that was not the case.
Well,
Yeah.
So
we've
it's a
said
normal
this a
market.
Very
lot
stark contrast.
in the last couple months of doing these podcasts. We've said this a lot, that if you are priced correctly, you're moving, you're getting showings, right? If you are doing the right updates and you're really winning the beauty contest, so to speak, you are getting showings and those are moving. The flip side is just what the headlines are focused on.
Yeah.
Right.
Mostly it's price. And we're all getting better at that. And I give ourselves a little pass because we were way up, but
Yeah.
I know it's big.
And
big part of
buyers,
it.
they're just more selective. They're not absent. They're just selective right now. And I think overpricing is just the real issue. You're absolutely right. You got to nail it on price and you got to make it look good. And
Yeah,
the
the
good homes are still moving.
The condition and presentation make the big difference there too. Like,
Yeah. It's never been more important to prep your home right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we've done whole podcasts on the positive ROI when you do that. Like you're
Yeah.
winning on all fronts.
Well,
Yeah.
like from a realtor's perspective, this is the type of market that we like because it's not so fast paced. You kind of have to give your sellers like the advice of like, okay, here's what you should probably do to update your home. And then the buyers are a lot more methodical. So it's not this fast paced COVID market where it's like we're just trying to hold on for dear life. It's much more balanced. Affordability is still kind of sucky, but like this is kind of the market that at least I prefer because it's not super fast, but it's not super slow. It's kind of like it's that medium porridge, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just right.
Goldilocks.
Goldilocks.
That would be
Yeah.
Mama?
We're in a
No, Mama
Goldilocks.
was too cold. Sorry.
It was too cold. Probably mom because she's
Babies
always
was just
making
right.
taking care of it.
Yeah.
Babies was just right. Yeah.
Well, and what most headlines aren't talking about because they tend to go to negativity and fear, right?
Yeah.
Is the fact that there's some opportunities in this market that are pretty big right now. And I think for buyers, they're pretty obvious. It's more negotiating power, especially in those segments that sellers aren't getting showings. It's like buyers have a lot of leverage right now to negotiate. And you can get concessions paid for. You can get sellers to cut checks to a contractor of your choice to do work
Rate
on
buydowns.
homes, rate buy downs,
Yeah.
temporary and permanent. There's just way less bidding war chaos, and all of that has gone away. For the most part, we're still seeing a couple here and there on nice properties, but not anywhere towards the volume of bidding wars that we had during the pandemic. And so there's a lot of opportunity there, and sellers, there's some opportunity there too, because if you're amongst a sea of homes that are not prepping their home right, and you are prepping your home right and have good fundamentals, you're going to stand out and you're going to look really good. It's like a home that gets listed with beautiful July landscaping when everyone else has dead grass, right? Like it stands out. And so there's opportunities to do that for sellers just by looking good and marketing their home really well.
Well, per the last point, and I think you had a couple listings where they're beautiful. We have had really good weather. I think that probably helps us here.
Yeah.
And in that first weekend, you get multiple bids, and we're selling for over.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
on the buy side, I had to bid over asking. Like we haven't done that in a long time.
Yep.
So there are pockets, and it comes back to if you're priced right and it's beautiful, you're getting activity.
People are moving on
If you
it.
get two
Yep.
people interested,
Yep.
you get above.
Definitely.
There you go.
Yeah, and we track months of inventory, which is basically saying if no new homes came on the market, how many months would all of the current homes that are on the market last based on the rhythm of buying demand, how much they're eating up every month. And, for a seller's market, that number's lower than 4 months is more of a seller's market. And you have to go in our market right now for detached homes, you have to go all the way up to $1 million to get to more of a balanced market. And then it's like over 1.5 to get to a very buyer's market. But you've got some people one opportunity right now is if you have like a starter home that you have a ton of equity in, sell that home because that market's still pretty hot, and then go buy your dream home right now, which is in a very soft market. Like I see a lot of smart people doing that and taking advantage of that right now. If you can afford the payment, you'll be able to negotiate really well and get some instant equity on a home that's probably worth more than what you'll spend on it right now. So
Yeah.
equity strong for a lot of people, so they have opportunities to do that sort of thing. And for investors, just there's more stability and longer holding periods right now. And we still, we have some positive migration moving into our state. We do have a lot of people moving out too. And we'll talk about that on our next episode, but it's not awful right now. And so it depends on which side of the political scheme you're on, but you may have an opinion on that, one or another. But I would say both sides probably aren't true. It's probably somewhere in the middle as far as what the truth actually is for how many people are moving in and out, and what opportunity we have here in Denver.
Talk to your local professionals. Don't leave it to the national media. That's kind of what it comes down
Yeah,
to.
hopefully that was a clear part of this.
Yeah.
We're focused on our market. Headlines generally look national.
Yeah.
Do your
ours are
research.
different.
Don't let other people do the thinking for you, right? Just reach out to those that know the areas really well and like us, and we'll tell you exactly what the market looks like. We're not here to try to sway you either way, but we'll give you the facts and you can make that decision for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just the stuff that really matters, right? Is local expert opinions, like you said, but also local inventory trends, what's happening there. And we still have that same seasonal pattern that we always have here in Denver. Migration patterns, how many people are moving in and out, job growth. There's still companies moving here. We still have companies expanding their operations here, and still corporate tax levels are still fairly decent, with where we're at right now. Supply constraints and personal timing versus market timing. Those are all things that really matter to the people that we're serving right now. So the media absolutely sells on emotion, right? Fear mongering is their forte. And so you have to really understand the strategy behind everything to win in this market. And I would just say that the headlines won't tell you when it's the right time for you. They'll just tell you what's going to get clicks, right? And I've been a victim of that many times. So be careful with that.
Yeah, call us. We can talk about this till we're blue in the face because we love it.
Yeah.
But we know the market very well, and what you read is not always relevant here in this
Totally.
market.
Yep. Smartest buyers focus on local data, personal timing, and long-term goals. It's a long-term investment, right? And that's how you should see it for owning real estate. So if you've been confused about the headlines and don't understand, what you should be clicking on or thinking because there's so much information overload out there, it's time to give us a call, like Chad said, and we'll be happy to go over your specific situation and help you understand the data that's driving some of the movement that's going on in the market right now, and help you whether you're buying or selling a home here in the Denver metro area. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.